My father came from a generation of men who had one thing in common: avoiding emotion. You know, see no emotion, feel no emotion, speak no emotion, right? So I don't know what I was thinking when I just blurted it out. Clearly, I wasn't thinking. I was finishing up a conversation with my father on the phone. He was 85, a couple years into retirement, and I just blurted it out. Goodbye, Dad. I love you. Now, this may not seem very strange to some of you, but it occurred to me at that point that my dad never said those words to me. Now, unlike the movies, my dad did not melt. He did not burst open by my outpouring of love. He did not even smile. He said, "Yeah, ditto." I said, "What's that supposed to mean?" He said, "You know, ditto." I said, "No, Dad, what does that mean?" He said, "Leave me alone. You know what I mean. I don't want to say it." We were laughing so hard we were crying, and I let him off the hook this time. Now, while this bantering back and forth at the end of our conversations carried on for a while and became a routine for us, the start of our conversation also had a routine that had much longer longevity than the endings. It started like this. I would ask my dad about his tennis game. I would ask him about his bowling game. I would ask him how his emphysema's doing. I would ask him how his breathing's doing. At which point my dad very distinctly focused the conversation back on me. Enough about him. What about me? And this part of the conversation went like this. How's your car running? How's your social life? Any work on the fire? Now let me decode that for you. How's your car running? A very important topic to my dad. How's your social life? This was daddy speak for asking if I had any hot dating prospects. He wanted to see me get married while he was still alive, and it was my joke that by being single, it was my way of keeping him around for a while longer. Any work on the fire? He would always say this softly so that my mother wouldn't hear. This was code for me giving a brief financial report on my financial status and to know whether there needed to be a clandestine exchange of money. You know what I'm talking about. I can see your head shaking. And when that ritual was over, we went to the closing statements. Yeah, okay, so long. Goodbye, Dad. I love you. Yeah, me too. Same here. I said, come on, Dad. It's not going to kill you. Oh, well, you know what I mean. We were sitting 1,000 miles apart from each other, cracking up, our face wet with tears, and I could see his ears and his nose turning bright red. Come on, Dad, I want to hear you say it. Come on, leave me alone, you're nuts. Leave me alone already. And besides, I don't want to say it in front of Mom. He was serious. I said, no, you wouldn't want to do that, Dad. You wouldn't want to show any emotion in front of her. He said, that's right. But at this point, my mom actually caught on to what was going on for the first time, and I heard her in the background saying, good luck getting him to show any emotion. But when she left the room, he said, yeah, okay, I love you. Yeah, we was cracking up all right, but he was also cracking open. And as I hung up the phone, tears of a different sort wet my face. On Father's Day, I said, Dad, I thought I'd give you the last word today. Oh, yeah, what should I say? Dad, I was going to get you a card that said, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. That's your line. No, Dad, that's your line. We were sitting miles apart still. But my dad knew that I was on the phone, and my mom was in the kitchen, and he was cornered. And in front of my mother, he said, yeah, okay, I love you. You see, Evie? I said it. And I hear her in the background saying, I can't believe it. I'm giving him a big kiss for you. Now, as time passed, there came a moment that I realized what I had done. Goodbye, Dad. I love you. I love you, too. I always have. I always will. I love all my kids. You know that. The crack had opened fully, and I got off the phone and I sobbed. Now, there was one more frontier. There's 5 years had passed since I started this with my father. He was turning 90, and we had a huge surprise party for him. It was perfect. And when it was my turn to say what I needed to say, I fumbled through some words I had on the paper, but I didn't need a script for the final grand finale. Are you ready, Dad? This is what we've been waiting for. We've been practicing. Are you ready? He nodded his head. He knew exactly what I meant. I love you, Dad. I love you. And everybody cheered while 50 people witnessed this opening of my dad. No explanation was needed. They knew my father.